let you down. Follow your heart. Take the steps beyond your way. Take the steps. When you have a dream, you gotta start. It's the only way. If you're gonna shine, and you're gonna shine, shine, shine. You're gonna shine. Hello, everyone. How you doing? Okay, give me a second here. I'm actually trying to make something happen here, and it's just not cooperating. All right. Again, we are welcome and on the ranch. I know Billy's already watching. On the ranch, what we're doing is we're spanning the globe to bring you kind of the best in indie country music. And what we've been finding is country music's everywhere. It's in Canada, it's in South Africa, and it does mean different things to different people. So we're really spanning our globe and for some really good talent. And tonight with us, we have Christopher Wright, who's been rescheduled kind of from another night. So we're trying to pull this all together and make it all happen because he has some new stuff that we're trying to showcase here. So let me just, before I pull him on. Okay. All right, everyone, this is Christopher Wright. Yay!
Hey. How's it going?
Oh, it's going. It's Monday.
Man, getting back in from a good weekend of playing and singing. It's always interesting how the business end of it starts on Monday. Yeah.
It does. And that's why, like, the better weekend you have, the harder Monday is.
Fortunately, I don't know if you've gotten a chance how much you know about my background, but I've got 7 years of sobriety, so my Mondays are a lot easier than they used to be. So yeah, it used to be Mondays were a bitch, bro, but now they're much more manageable.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because you don't know my background. But
I went and looked through your stuff, man. I listened to some of your tunes out there too, so it's good.
Yeah, I spent 30 years as an adolescent addiction specialist.
I saw that.
So I've been really waiting to talk to you because a lot of people in recovery really infuse their recovery and really have some really inspiring music based on their journey.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's a great outlet.
It really is. And that's how I started writing back in the day. I had a really nasty drunk of a stepfather. And I eventually started my recovery, from that through writing, and through music. So is that when you started writing? You were writing before that? I know you were playing before that.
I started, let's see, the first song that I've actually gotten, as far as the chronological order of things, I recorded a song called The Calm Inside of Me on our first album that we put out in 2019. I wrote that song, I think, when I was 15 years old, and it took 20-something years to get it out. So, it was, I started writing when I was young, but it was kind of like I started playing guitar when I was like 11. So I was like, I'd kind of figure a couple chords. I'd write poetry. I excelled in the writing side of schooling stuff. Not so much math, but definitely on the oratory side of things, I leaned, I guess. So,
okay.
Yeah, man, I just I dug poetry, and the weirder the better. So that song was, it's weird because it's called The Calm Inside of Me. And the essence of the song is that, I'm looking for wherever it is where I'm calm inside, because I feel like there's a storm brewing. And at 15 years old, I had no idea what I would do in my 20s and 30s. Right. So it was almost like I was kind of like Babe Ruth, like calling your shot. What
I noticed, a lot of teens, that are getting caught up in doing crazy things, they don't see themselves living past 25.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think
You
yeah,
know,
they don't see much past the screen that's in their hand, actually, Randy.
there's not a whole lot of long-term planning going on right there. You know.
No, man, I've got a 17-year-old in our house, Texas, right now, and yeah, it's a totally different thing. Good thing is she's a lot better child than I was at 17. Thank God. So yeah, I'd already been to jail by the time I was her age.
And she knows all about that.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah, I let her. I don't have I think that was one cool thing about sobriety is that I was able to get honest with everybody. So all those things that, like those skeletons in people's closets that bury people, man, I remember that. I remember having to fucking remember, oh, excuse my language. Sorry. Remember having to like, cover up a lie with another lie and forget about what lie am I telling right now? It's so exhausting even to remember what that was like. So yeah, just being totally honest and being transparent to the family and practicing these principles in all our affairs. I think that's what one of the suggestions was. And man.
If you're working the steps, isn't that step like 9 or something where you're
I think well that's actually like in the that's kind of like like the intro of stuff, that's kind of like almost, I wouldn't say a mantra, but that's part of the promises, if you will. So
yeah. It's part of any good program,
man,
to kind of mend bridges. And
absolutely, you got to face up to all your shit. That's the hardest part too, is it's like getting real, getting honest and saying, man, I own my whole side of the street, and you have to list it out. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to. Do I have to put this? I can leave this off, right? This is good.
Right.
I had a really good sponsor back in those days, and he was like, "No, yeah, write that shit down."
Right, and then you have to, like, I know the kids have to write a letter. I had them write a letter to their parents.
Yeah, I had to do that too, man. And he sent it back to me like 4 times. I had to give it to him first. I had to write letters to my kiddos. I have 2 children with a previous marriage, and I wrote a letter to Alexa and Savannah, and before I sent it to them, I had to run it by Randie, rest his soul, 3 different times, I think. So yeah, I finally just mailed them. I was like, okay, it's good enough.
Well, now we get to do that. Back in the day, it wasn't that easy,
Right.
Yeah, you had to really come clean.
Yeah, that's it.
So you started out with poetry, some kind of weird avant-garde stuff. Eventually started writing verses and choruses.
Yeah, I actually found that song. My mom called me up one summer and was like, "Hey, come get all your stuff out of my garage because I'm going to throw it away." So I went over there and started going through this little boxes of stuff that were from like middle school and high school and stuff in there. Do you know who the Indigo Girls are? Do you remember them?
Oh, of course.
Okay, so they had released an album called Closer to Fine.
Yep.
Okay, so in that there was like a sheet music, and I wanted to learn how to play like "Secure Yourself to Heaven" or something like that, and because I had heard it at like church camp or something. So I ended up I got that book. The book was at this point, it's 25 something years old, and that's where I found that song that I wrote, The Common Side of Me, because apparently I had written it and I shoved it in the back of that old songbook. I still got that book today.
Oh, okay.
Pretty cool. I love those dudes. Freaking Indigo Girls. I'll play center stage whenever I'll cover it from time to time, and my wife can harmonize those parts. And it's always a good attention getter.
It is, and the harmonies on that, forget it. They're so good.
Yeah, she's got it down by now. But I will call her up like when she's least expecting it. Bless her heart. She's a good sport.
And it sounds like she's been up through a lot with you too. Like she knows the you.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got married in 2020. And I had been already sober for several years, but when we had our first date, I laid it all out for her, Randy. I scorched earth, man.
First date.
I like, I
Oh,
like,
that's heavy.
and
That's heavy.
you know, her response now, even when I hear her talk about us meeting, is that she just thought it was refreshing that she's like, nobody would make that shit up. Nobody would tell on themselves like that.
You know what? Here's my dating. Like I have so many songs about like dating apps and stuff, but the one date I had first date, I was like, I'm gonna come clean. I shaved 5 years off my age, and he never spoke to me again. I mean, that's all.
Well, that's what's that?
From all the other stuff I've been up to. Like, come on now. If he couldn't handle that, then it's not going anywhere.
That's funny.
But yeah. So yeah, so we're on a road. We are on a road. So let's start with this. I always ask early in the interviews, because you weren't always into country music. You've been on a journey to country music.
Man, I started listening to country music in my bottle days. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm talking about my baby bottle days. I grew up with like Hank Williams Jr. and Merle Haggard and George Jones and Charlie Pride. And golly, man, it seems like, you know, when I started growing up into Alabama, and then I just loved Clint Black and Travis Tritt. And I mean, obviously Garth Brooks was a big part. I mean, George Strait, forget about it, man. And then when I got into college, it was guys like I was 1100 Springs, and it was Randy Rogers and Wade, and God, all those guys, dude. And the songwriters are Chris Christopherson. Actually, Wade Bowen is just a friggin' awesome songwriter here in Texas too. And there's so many. And I've been touring now for 3 years, and I've gotten a chance to meet a lot of these guys, and they're just so freaking kind and helpful, and it's just I don't know, it feels like an extended family. It's really cool. But country's been a part of my life since the jump, man. And it's like, I mean, I still half of my closet's cowboy boots, and I still got a bunch of buckles that I just barely earned. So
you ventured a little bit into kind of rock and punk, and then you came right back.
Man, well, I felt it, dude. I couldn't stay away from 1990s grunge Seattle sound, man.
Yeah.
I just love Soundgarden and Eddie Vedder and Chris Cornell, you know, all that stuff, man. Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, all those guys.
You know,
but the Black Crowes, dude, the blues stuff.
Yeah, the bluesier stuff is really cool. Like Nirvana is still a band I will never turn off, and I will sit in my car, like if at the supermarket, singing in my car, like waiting for it to finish.
Yeah. They got some. There's, you know, I saw this really cool thing. Like, so if you go back and you listen to, so Dave Grohl has he's got, like, you know how that in Smells Like Teen Spirit, you know how that drum beat's like,
yeah,
right when it starts. So if you run that back to like some old 70s like boogie stuff, dude, Dave Grohl came clean to a Pharrell on an interview and started telling him, he was like, dude, I got this from like these old 70s like pickups. He's like, man, he talked to the artist that did that, this old 70s cat, and he goes, man, I just gotta tell you, dude, I've just been stealing off of you for years. He's like, I know, man. So cool. Yeah,
we both early in this industry. What are you gonna do? You know, there's only so many chords, and
that's it, man. It's just making different flavors out of it.
That's what you do. It's what you do. You got to make it your own. Yeah. You sound too much like it, then own up to it. You know.
That's it.
So, what do you think? You want to listen to a song?
Sure.
All right, I can bring up right now. I have the Collin County Jail song I could bring up, and then I'll have to work on bringing the other ones up because they're on my computer somewhere, and I don't know where they went. So we will work on it. Okay. So right now, guys, we are going to listen to so tell us about your newest song here.
Well, Collin County Jail is it's just, well, first of all, the first time that I ever had to any experience there, I was 16 years old, and I had a pellet gun incident that went awry. And anyways, the last time that I was in there was 2015, because I had gotten into some more trouble. But in between, I kind of caught plenty of different things. I mean, the state of Texas has been trying to tell me to pull my head out of my ass for a while, really. And the last time I was in jail, and I had a buddy of mine that was in there, and I remember I was getting like booked in, and I hear Wright, and I look around, I'm like, I started thinking, I was like, man, if you're getting like your buddies are yelling your name when you're getting booked in jail there because they're there too, then you may be making some iffy life choices. You're associating maybe with some people, there's some things you may want to change, just suggestions that are coming from the universe at this point. Like, okay.
You know what? That whole people, places, things thing they come up with all the time. Maybe something to it, know?
Right. So, so I'm like, it's freezing cold in there. And because I'm only like 170 pounds, I always get thrown on the top bunk. So I'm sitting there and I'm like freezing my ass off, and I'm looking at this cross on my arm, and I'm like, man, I'm sitting here making deals with the ink on my arm in the Collin County Jail. That's the beginning of the song, and man, it's just a true story. And that was I said it's it's ain't my first time in the Collin County Jail, but it sure as hell's my last. So that's the way that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, let's see if we can also share audio tab. Yes. Oh, that's on. Okay. So if I'm doing this right, we should be sharing right now. Right? Do you see it?
I just see you and me right now.
All right. Let me see here. Let me change. Add to stage. Oh, here we go. There it is with sound. And here we go.
Man, I hate to see you back in here, but I really hope that this is the last time you're going to be in here.
It is.
Good, man. I hope so. Either way, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Do you understand each and every one of these rights? All right, let's go.
Making deals with the ink on my arm in the Collin County Jail. Faded lace on this Celtic cross reminds me how I failed. If I hadn't burned every bridge I'd crossed, maybe they'd go my bail. Instead of making deals with the ink on my arm in the Collin County Jail. It's a fluorescent glare, a foxhole prayer to save my ass, amen. But if you get me out of here, good Lord, I won't come back again. List of all the times I've lost, shit I won't get back. It ain't my first time in the Collin County Jail, but sure as hell's my last. You too many faces in here that I recognize. When they handed me my jumpsuit, they already knew my size. This time it don't seem to fit, 'cause now I realize there's a few too many faces in here that I recognize. It's a fluorescent glare, a foxhole prayer to save my ass, amen. But if you get me out of here, good Lord, I won't come back again. With the list of all the times I've lost, and shit I won't get back. It ain't my first time.
You like the ramen in there?
County Jail, sure as hell's my last. foxhole prayer to save my ass, amen. If you get me out of here, good Lord, I won't come back again. After all the times I've lost, shit, I won't get back. It ain't my first time in the Collin County Jail, but it sure as hell's my last. It ain't my first time in the Collin County Jail, but it sure as hell's my last.
I still get like a little PTSD when I hear those bars.
You know what? I'm going to ask you. I actually tried to film a video in a jail, and I went to the local police who I worked with, and they were like so hard ass. Well, that's a security risk and blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, everyone knows what your cells look like, dude. Like, stop. But they wouldn't even let me do it.
Yeah, there's okay. So we did that at this. So there was a private owner bought the old. It's actually oh gosh, what's the town? It's right just here north of Dallas, like north of the Colony. There's a little area that the city hall actually was being moved. They were abandoning that building, and so there was a private owner that came in and bought it, and so it actually was a working jail for the city. So but now a private owner owns it, and he's like a music fan, so like all the rooms are like sound rooms. One of like the rotunda where they used to have like the city hall meetings is now like a stage where they have about a 75 room venue. It's really cool. They have it. I mean, it's got all kinds of really neat stuff in there, but they left that jail operating. So I mean, it was just being used as soon as 3 years ago. So I mean, it still smelled like piss, let's put it that way, dude. I mean, it still smelled like jail. When I came home, I mean, if you've ever been to jail, there's a smell, and it takes like.
Believe it or not, I've been there. I used to be a task officer for the courts.
What I'm talking about.
So I did. So, for people who don't know what that is, what I would do is I'd go into the jails, and I'd be the one who says, if this was a drug-related case, I would try to get you into rehab rather than sitting in jail in the state of New Jersey. So yeah, I did a lot of youth work. So I was in a lot of it was for Hudson County. So only once or twice I had to go to the adult jails, but they were more polite to me in the adult jails because they knew what I was doing and they wanted out.
Yeah.
The kids weren't playing. Like, they were just cursing and angry and pissed off. And
yeah. It makes sense.
But, in the adult jail, yes, ma'am. Anything you want to know, ma'am?
Yeah. Yeah, they know the game. Yeah, playing the game.
They know the game,
They have already experienced the consequences of young dumbness.
Right?
We all got to learn somewhere.
Yep. And rehab was looking a lot better, but some of the TCs were pretty tough too, the therapeutic communities,
Yeah, man. I bounced around through a bunch of those joints, dude. I mean, I was like, I can't, honestly, sadly, I can't even remember exactly all of them. I think there was at least 6. I mean, it was weird because, I mean, as soon as like 8 years ago, I mean, I was literally, I had my dog, I had a briefcase, I had my truck, and that was it. And I didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, man. And I was resigned to being okay with that, I guess. I mean, I had acute liver failure in 2016. And
is that your rock bottom?
Yeah. When I had the pastor for our church was dispatched to read me my last rites on September the 9th. So I had my liver had shut down, and then my pancreas shut down, and my spleen ruptured, and they were taking me off all the stuff, and they were just like, there's nothing we can do because the liver just had shut down. And so there wasn't any transplant that was going to happen because I destroyed my liver, so it wasn't, the odds weren't good. So it's just like, they're like, we're taking him off, that, you know, send in the priest, and I see him in there. I'm like, what are you doing here, bro? Like, this shit is real now. So that scared me. It scared me a lot. I had that. I mean, I was in a coma for 8 days, medically induced coma, where they took like they did like full dialysis, took all the blood out, put all the new stuff in. So like, had a trach thing down, breathing for me, all that shit. So, man, I remember thinking, I just wanted the pain to stop, and then everything got real calm all of a sudden, and then I thought, oh shit, this is it. And then that was a wake up call. But I will tell you this. So I get healed up from that. So obviously I had to detox and all that stuff to get to that point, and then like a week and a half goes by, because they were going to send me to Florida, to Jacksonville, to the Mayo Clinic, where they were going to be, because they'd just gotten the Hep C cure. So a lot of the people that were on the list for liver transplants were getting cured. So there was like a hope at that point. It was October 2016. Medically, look it up. I mean, that literally is when that thing came out. It was a really crazy deal. But I got it. They put on a golf tournament here for me and Alan, my coaches, and like fraternity brothers, and like all these people showed up they raised like, I think 12 grand or something like that. Sent me out there to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. And man, I remembered feeling like, you know what, all these people are doing that for me. I didn't even think, when I was sleeping on a park bench with my dog in my briefcase, I literally thought that nobody cared. I had no, because this disease isolates us. You know that it wants you all by yourself. It wants you,
and you get engrossed in your own shit. I mean, you can't get out of it. It's me. It's hard to look around and see that other people are there. Reach back. You know,
and I think that one of the saviors in my recovery was finding out that I wasn't the fucking center of the universe.
Yeah,
because I realized
that kids don't ever get. I mean, it's hard for them, and I think once adults hit that, there's hope.
Yeah,
you know?
It is. It is. It's like, when you walk into a room and you think everybody's looking at it. No, dude, nobody's fucking looking at you. Nobody really,
nobody cares.
Nobody cares. And then you go, when you walk into that room and you know that, you're like, okay, you know what? What am I doing? Why was I borrowing? My grandmother used to say, don't be borrowing trouble. And so smart. What a great way to say it. Borrowing trouble. So true. But
right. And it starts out young, that center. I have, kids, middle school, can't walk into the cafeteria. Everyone's looking at you. And I'm like, no.
Well, I wrote, one of the songs, I don't know if you dialed this one. Did you bring up the I've Been to Hell, You Can Have It? Is that
let me check now, because I think we're going with Plan B right now.
Well, that was an older song. That was actually the first song that I ever put out on Texas radio that went to the top 50.
Wait, what's it called?
It's called I've Been to Hell, You Can Have It.
I've been to hell. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
But anyways, the thing is that while you're looking for it, I had a buddy of mine named Scott called me up. I used to do some adjusting work, and we used to like travel all around the country together. And Scott called me up. He's like, "Man, my girlfriend won't stop cheating on me. I can't now. This job is just not working out, and the cops are picking on me." And I'm like, "Dude, you're the common denominator in all that." So,
right.
Like, if you keep making decisions like you are right now, you already know what happened to me. You know what I mean? You're doing the same shit I was doing. I said, "Dude, I've already been to hell. You can have it." And I just told the birth of that song to all of these radio people in Texas, and they're like, "Oh man, that song's freaking killer, dude. That one was awesome." I had a guy call me up with like PTSD, and he's like, "Man, that song freaking saved my life, man." His name's Troy. At the time, and I still talk to him. He actually is a manager now at like one of the Jersey Mikes here in Frisco, and he sent me a message, and my wife and I remember he called me, and Angela's sitting here to my right, and I remember right where we are, what road we were on, and he because I'm like, man, none of this stuff was getting any traction. I'm like, man, I'm just grinding out here on this thing, and I guess I just need to go back to work doing something different. And sure enough, out of the blue, Troy calls me up, and he's like, dude, this is a kid that is a ranger in Iraq who has seen some things that humans just shouldn't have to see. So he had, we met through the program. So, I mean, I know his background and stuff. But you know what? He calls me up, and he's like, man, I was sitting in my car in front of the house. He goes, dude, I've played Russian roulette a couple of times in my life, and obviously I've won every time, or we wouldn't be having this conversation. But I just want you to know I had my pistol in my lap, and your damn song came on my playlist. And I listened to it once, I rewound it, I listened to it again, and I ran inside and I let my mom listen to it. Your song fucking saved my life. And I got chills. Yeah, and Angela's got tears in her eyes, I mean, that moment was that, and I tell him that too. I talk to him still, regularly, and I tell him that kept this thing on the tracks. That was where I think there was a purpose at that moment, because I don't want to be a preacher, and I don't want, dude, I'm attraction rather than promotion. I don't talk like this to people out in public all the time. You know what I mean?
But it shows that when you get honest, and it comes out in your music, people, feel it, and it's powerful. Music is so powerful, what you choose to listen to at a time you choose to listen to it. So I did find it, by the way.
Oh, cool.
We did find it. So when we come back, we're going to talk about what music did for you as you move through all of this. But right now, let's listen to that song. Share a screen with sound. Oh, wait a minute. Let me do one thing first.
I'm glad you're doing all this, because I don't know how to do any of this stuff.
You know what? A couple seasons, I made some mistakes, and I go, Troy, what my producer, Troy Soha from Blast Music 24/7. And I'm like, what do I do this? So next time I know how to do it. So you keep making mistakes and you learn. That's what it is. All right. I've been to hell, and you can have it.
Is it on, Randie? Oh.
Tapping on one side of the other, wondering what the other one said. Am I doing it right? Oh, am I doing it wrong? Why's it always have to sound like the same sad song? 'Cause time is wasted, all wasted time. Waste your time, but don't waste mine. Fire your minister, oh, deceive before it's rabid. I've been to hell, you can have it. Wake me up, show me the way, so that I can live to fight another day. 'Cause time is wasted, all wasted time. Waste your time, but don't waste mine. Fire your minister, oh, deceive before it's rabid. I've been to hell, you can have it.
I do think we had some sound issues at the beginning. I did solve that. So hope everyone got to hear that song. Pretty amazing stuff. So you were going through all this, your liver's everything in jail. How important was so much for stop sharing? Okay. So when you were going through all this, how important was music to you?
I would expect that it would be pretty much everything. I think it's like just the thought of it, thought of something left undone. Somewhere along the way, I heard someone say that the richest place in the world is a cemetery, and because it's like all of those dreams and things that people didn't do when they were here. And I thought about that, and I think there was some sort of, dude, I found meditation is a huge part of my life. Stoicism is a big part lately, but I think that when, my faith in God was like, I was pretty well shattered, but there was a lot of stuff that I just didn't care about things. I mean, I knew everything. I knew there was supposed to be a relationship that was supposed to sustain relationships out here and doing this, but I was like, the only thing that I could really vibe to, I could feel it like kind of tune me up, was music, man. I mean, that sounds kind of, I don't know, that's not, I feel like there's not a cliche answer to it, because there's a tuning fork, that would go off and tell me, you're not done yet. You've got something to do. And it came in the form of sounds, I mean, it made sense, and I needed to get some stuff out. So I found that was the purpose. And then, I mean, once I once I finally realized that, that it was like, yeah, hold on, and now I can do this, and maybe that I have the opportunity, if one person can, benefit from this, fuck, I did my job.
Right.
And that, and that's it. And so, okay, well then rinse and repeat, and then find out, and then surround myself with like amazing freaking songwriters in Nashville. And just like working, I did 120 shows the last 2 years. So, we're just playing a bunch of venues, and we've put out, like 2 EPs and now 3 singles is what we've got. And we're working with Ray Wiley Hubbard right now, man. Like, I never thought in a million years. We're actually going to do a thing on our socials this week. Ray wanted to show me a picking pattern. And he had a show at the Kessler the other night, and he invited me out to get in the green room and everything with him, and he showed me that picking pattern. I actually have it signed. I had him write it out on a paper towel in a Sharpie, and I told him to go ahead and sign it, just for because not every day that you get to sit down with a legend and have him show you a little remedial guitar.
Oh my God. What an opportunity. That's awesome. That's awesome. What I'm also hearing too is how you're using music to go from this self-centered person and using music to be the connection with God, with people. It's your medium.
I think that's what's happening. I think that my job is ultimately is to get out of the way. I think that most importantly is that I think I wake up and I go to bed and I try to get outside of myself, kind of thing, and say, hey, what do you want me to do? Because when I'm driving the bus, it's careening off the side of the highway and into a bar ditch. But if I can turn those keys over to somebody else that's a lot more capable to drive than and I think that it has everything to do with spirituality, faith, and meditation is about listening, I think. And I think I'm just trying to learn how to listen a little bit better. And every now and then, maybe when I'm listening, maybe a song or two will come by. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I do a lot of mindfulness. I've run anxiety groups for 20 years, I think. And teaching kids. I think if kids can get that skill early on, they're so far ahead.
Yeah, man.
And it's really about accepting where you are, and that's such a hard concept.
Yeah.
Because you don't always like where you are,
Yeah. And every day is, every day it's like, you get to start over, so it's like, and sometimes the day's like, God, I got to start over again. I did really good. Can't I just relax and not do that? No, this isn't something that we graduate from. We're always in this thing. So we're always going to be working towards what can we do? But and Ray is really good about reminding me of this, is that if I'm helping somebody else and I'm in a solution, man, I'm not thinking about myself, dude. Mm-hmm. Life is better. You see,
yeah.
It's like, it's hard, but then there's that little thing that flips in your mind, is like, hold on, but I got all the stuff that I need. I'll take that back. I'm gonna grab that will back, because you know what? I'm too spoiled for that. That's the 6th step, is that where we're working on that. It's like being willing to let it all go. It's like, not this thing. I got to keep this, because, that's my vice.
Well, you know what? It is the music business,
Yeah.
So there is some marketing and media, it has to be involved.
For sure, man.
It does not come natural, to do that, to say it's all about the song, and here's the song, here's the song, here's the song. Please listen,
Yeah.
To get yourself out there, it's not easy.
It really isn't. And then there's so much noise. How do you get through it,
Let's see. Paul Castiglione, I'm with you, Christopher, on how much you gain inwards when you're reaching outwards.
What's up? No doubt.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that is. I think someone said something, and it made no sense to me when I was still like jaundiced yellow and vibrating. Someone said, the more, the more you give it away, the more you keep it. And I was like, what the hell are you, what does that even mean? And it didn't make any sense, but man, I totally get it. Totally get it. You're right, Paul, for sure.
For sure. All right, so let's see what other song. Let me go back here. Stop. I want to go back. And there was another one we wanted to listen to. A Good Time to Quit. A good one. Was that it?
Yeah, a good one to quit on. Yeah, we just a buddy and I, Doug Folkens and I wrote that song together in my apartment out there in Nashville earlier this year. And man, it just it was one of those songs where, I ran it by Ray, and he's like, dude, I hear the Rolling Stones in this country music. And I was like, yes. I was like, okay, well, that whatever, Ray. And okay, so I basically, there was a thing that kind of went on where I was going to get it promoted. I'm going to try to not like completely get way off topic over here, but so I was going to produce a song here in Denton, and we were going to use a different place. And anyways, there was a pricing thing, there was a royalties thing, business stuff, you get it. And it was, I was like, I didn't feel good about it. It was red flags and everything. So, I mean, I have Ray as a resource. So I was like, hey bro, can I bend your ear for a minute? And he's like, well, what are you trying to do here? And I was like, well, I'm trying to record these songs. He's like, send them over to me. This is my best Ray Wiley ever. And anyways, so after we get them all over there, this is like in March. Well, so a couple weeks go by, a month goes by, almost 2 months go by. So we're in May, and all of a sudden I get a phone call from Ray. I'm fixing to get into the shower, and I'm like, Ray Wiley Hubbard's on my cell phone. So I'm going to shut I'm like, go ahead and take the call. And then I'm like, hey bro, what's up? Because I thought that it was kind of like, hey, you know what? I got to put my 4 songs in front of my hero. If anything else, today's a good day because I got that opportunity, whatever. I wasn't even really expecting much. And so he tells me like, I need you in Dripping Springs at the Zone Studios. Pat Mansky's going to be your producer. My son, Lucas Hubbard, is going to play the guitar and the mandolin and the harps. And we're going to bring Tobin Dale from Nashville in to play slide guitar on this thing. And I'm like, what?
Oh my God. Let's listen to this.
Yeah.
We're going to share. Hold on. Let me do this right this time. Add to stage. I'm going to make it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I forgot we had that. I forgot about this one.
Yeah. Is this the right one?
Yeah. Yeah. It's we cut that over at 613 Media. Yep.
All right, here we go.
I was pretty good at knocking them back. I swear this time I had my last. Sometimes when I close my eyes, those nights come pouring back. Ain't no secret, I got my regrets. Like too many words that never got said. If you're gonna leave, then you better believe you make a night that you won't forget. Like an old bronc rider hanging up his saddle, one last run and try to bring a buckle back home. I need a good one to quit on. Now I'm burning every bit of this I quit cigarette, waiting on the taste of your goodbye kiss to get gone. Make it a good one to quit on. I still remember the first time, first car, first love, first fight. It's like I'm right there in living color instead of this black and white. Like an old bronc rider hanging up his saddle, one last run and try to bring a buckle back home. I need a good one to quit on. Now I'm burning every bit of this I quit cigarette, waiting on the taste of your goodbye kiss to get gone. was one last time. Like an old bronc rider hanging up his saddle, one last run to try to bring a bucket back home. I need a good one to quit on. Now I'm burning every bit of this I quit cigarette, waiting on the taste of your goodbye kiss to get gone. Make it a good one to quit on.
Was that in that Dropbox?
No, I
Oh.
couldn't find it on my computer. I had to go back to YouTube, so I've been scrambling a little bit.
Okay.
So that was from your YouTube, and I can't wait to hear the studio production of that.
Yeah, it's sick, man. It's like it's got a sweet, slick little dobro sound in it. It's good. It's really good.
Yeah,
That's
I worked
good.
with a cat, Anthony Krazan, who used the dobro, and it's so sweet when it's used right and not overdone, and
Yeah,
really sweet.
yeah. It's got kind of a it's got like that little like a Rolling Stones kind of ran it. I said the Rolling Stones is kind of like it's like a southbound train through Louisiana with some like boudin wheels. It's just swampy, kind of gritty, bluesy. That's what I'm looking for. Something dirty like that. Something with like a bunch of E's. I'm loving a lot of drop D lately too. So it's like there's been a lot of. Are you a big Cody Johnson fan by chance? Do you know who I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about. I haven't listened very much, but drop D makes me nervous. I can't remember open tuning, let alone like play with the tunings and drop D and.
There's a song like I think it's like it's just that low end just sounds good to me for some reason. But that song Center Stage, the Indigo Girl song, it's what is it? I saw you bleed through the thunder. I couldn't hear you scream. Something like, isn't that right? Is that right?
Something like that.
Something like that. Or is it? Let's see. How does that song go? It's let's see. Oh yeah. Oh shit, man! Why I just got stumped on the lyrics. Sorry. I do this. I'm in my music room right now, and this is what happens.
That's all right.
Thrown off.
Well, we did listen to some your new stuff, which I really am digging. Which I'm really digging. So we have a couple minutes left. Christopher, where can people find you?
ChristopherWrightMusic.com. There's all over the Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, Christopher Wright Music on YouTube. I think we have a TikTok, all that good stuff. It's everywhere out there. So all that streaming platforms.
Any shows coming up?
Yes, ma'am. If you go to ChristopherWrightMusic.com, on the link, it's got our tour page, and we've got, I think we've already got like 30 something shows booked for 2024. So we're in a better place right now than we were last year. That's good.
That's onward and upwards, man. That's what you want to be doing.
Yeah.
That's what you want to be doing.
Yeah, buddy.
Really good stuff. Really good. And when's your EP? You dropping singles? You're dropping EPs?
Well, I think I'm just doing the singles. And then what I want to do is I want to wrap all those. I'm going to take like the 3 or 4 singles that we're putting out right now. And then I want to, at the end of the year or maybe towards August or something like that, have about 5 or 6 more and just do a full LP.
There you go. Keep putting them out and put them together and start all over again.
Right.
Do you like putting out videos? Not so much.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's necessary. I feel like that's kind of, especially with the metrics and stuff that you need. I feel like just getting your YouTube stuff a little stronger, your video game, because I mean, like it would be helpful. Like for example, here, I mean, if I had a little bit more of a library to choose from. So, yeah. I think over the years, throughout the years, we'll just continue to put out more and more cool stuff. We got some really neat people that we're working with, though. 613 Media in Fort Worth. They're freaking awesome. Guy named Trenton. He's done a lot of work with like Randie Rogers and Charlie Crockett, and I know he's doing a bunch of stuff with guy, I think Parker McCollum. So he's good. It's fun to work with all these folks. So if you surround yourself with the right people, it's almost like you're not really working.
It's not. It's fun. And then Monday, you got to do I have to get really disciplined to do the marketing and the back end of the music business,
Yeah.
So weekends you play, your shows you play and have fun, and you're a little kid in a sandbox, and everyone's invited into your sandbox.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, okay, real quick, because it's gonna drive me nuts if I don't do this. Can I share this song right here with you real quick?
Real quick, we have 2 minutes.
Okay. Do you remember? I just wanted to see if you just remember the first part of it. It's like, laughing in a crowd of jewels, a numbness from a scepter's wound, toss and turn, I spin and learn. Catch yourself before you burn. The jokers dance before the king. The jingling beads of silver ring. Close your eyes and bear the sound. The jumping up, falling down, oh, falling, 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 falling down. Look yourself in the eye before you drown. I think that's pretty fitting.
You know what? Thank you, Chris, for hanging out for a little bit. I'm so glad we made this work tonight. It was great having you guys. We've been on the ranch. This is produced by Blast Music 24/7. My producer, Tro Soho. You're awesome. And we'll see you right back here next Monday. I'm on the road. Don't know where it's going.